Hi everybody. Happy Monday night. Welcome. What is this doing? I don't know. Sorry, excuse me. You know, when you're on video and you have to look at yourself, it can be a little weird and stressful. So, yeah, excuse me while I try to make my hair do something relatively normal, which it doesn't do. But anyway, thanks for joining me here tonight. That was a fun way to start this video. So tonight I want to talk about journaling with the Gibbous Moon. I'm going to tell you what that means. I'm going to give you a little journaling exercise. We're going to do a little exercise together. So have your journal, have something to write with. We're going to talk about what zodiac sign the moon is in tonight and what that means. And I'll give you a little journaling, a couple of journaling prompts that you can do. So, I'm going to jump right in tonight. You might know this, but I just want to give you a little background. So the moon has 8 phases. It goes from new moon when the moon is completely dark. It gets bigger, stronger, fuller, brighter, until we get to a full moon, which is fully illuminated, the side that we can see. And then it wanes, and so it gets darker, smaller, you know, the energy goes down. So the phases are: new moon is when the moon is completely dark. The crescent moon, the waxing crescent moon, is when you see the little sliver of moon. And as it gets bigger, it goes to the first quarter moon, which means you see half the moon illuminated. And then when the moon goes to be mostly illuminated but not quite full, that's the gibbous moon, and that's where we are now. So it goes from first quarter to full, and the stage in between there is the gibbous moon. So the energy is still building and still building. And I think it is next Sunday the 12th, that the full moon occurs. Then after the full moon, so we start going back to the dark moon again. So full moon, we go to the disseminating moon, which is the waning gibbous. So it's mostly illuminated, but on the other side, when you're visually looking at it. Then we go to third quarter moon, so we still see half the moon is illuminated, but again, it's the other half than the first time we saw it when it was waxing. Then the balsamic moon, so it's again the small crescent that's illuminated. It goes back to a new moon, which is dark. And all of those different phases have different energies to work with. And the energies are good because, you know, the universe has cycles, and there's a flow of energy when energy builds and then when energy goes back down. And if you can find a way to work with those energies, you can get yourself in sync with the phases of the moon, with the cycles, with the seasons. You can get your body in sync. You can learn how to, you know, reset your energy. You can manifest things to you. You can learn more about your emotions and expressing yourself. The moon represents the yin, the emotional self, the stillness, the going inward. It's a very powerful metaphor and energy for inward journeys. And so we work with the moon a lot to work with our psyche and to go inward and discover what's inside of us, because we can see what's out here, right? We can see that, and you can process that with thoughts, but what's on the inside is not visible with your eyes, right? So it's a place that you have to go in and discover in other ways than looking at it. And so working with the moon energy can help you to go in and do that, okay? So journaling with the moon, you know, it's a great way to learn about that moon phase. It's a great way to work with that energy. We're going to talk about the astrology, what sign the moon is in tonight, and how you can work with that as well. And I just want you to be open to this tonight and just see what comes out of it, you know? See if you get any little nuggets of gold when you're journaling. I love that about journaling. You know, I like to do automatic writing, which is a way of accessing spiritual messages, you know, accessing your guides and your own inner wisdom and, you know, your higher self, spirit, however you want to call that, all of those things. And when you do automatic writing, you get centered, you get grounded, you ask a question, or you pick a topic, you ask what it is you want to know about, and then you write stream of consciousness. Don't stop moving your pen. And even if you're writing, I don't know what to write, or this is silly, or whatever it is you're writing, as long as you keep moving your pen so that you don't have time to let your brain think. You don't want your brain to take over. You want your instinct to be writing and to be giving you information. So a lot of things that you write, may not make sense. They may not be important. You might be writing, the sky was blue today and there were just a few clouds and, whatever, I don't know. But within that writing, if you can write for a long enough period of time, so 5 minutes or so, when you get past your brain is trying to control the process and you don't quite know what to write, and you get to the point of being in the flow of writing, you will get nuggets of gold in your writing. You will get little pieces of information that you go, oh, I didn't know that was in there, or that's really helpful for me to know, or it's really helpful for me to see that from this perspective. So try that when we write and just see what comes up and just have fun with it. So like I said, tonight we're in a gibbous moon, and that means the moon is between the first quarter when it's half illuminated and a full moon. And so it's getting bigger and brighter and stronger, and the energy is rising and growing. And let me just kind of walk you through the stages here. So I told you what the phases were, but let me tell you what they mean. So a new moon is about new beginnings. You plant the seed, you have new ideas, you make a fresh start, you're on a blank page. So brand new start. And you get to do this about once a month. The moon cycles about 29.5 days, and it repeats those 8 phases every cycle. The second is the crescent moon. So this is when you allow your plans to start coming together. So in the new moon, you've set an intention. You've set an intention for something you want to create, do, be, have, attract, manifest, something like that. And then in the crescent moon, you start letting your plan come together. You start writing down your ideas. You start, putting the plan into form so that you can start taking action on that. The first quarter moon is when you start taking the action. You start doing the steps. You start moving forward. And when you come up with, you might come up against some obstacles. And so a good way to move past obstacles when you get to the first quarter moon is by doing body movement. So dancing, exercising, running, any sort of body movement can help you create the energy that you can use for inspiration to then move past those obstacles. It breaks up the energy in a way that allows you to then move forward again. So then the gibbous moon, you've done the action, you've recognized the obstacles, you have, done your movement to break up the energy. So now with the gibbous moon, you want to adjust and you want to refine what you're doing. You want to say, okay, I've gotten more information now and I want to kind of refine what I'm doing to bring my intention to life. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Adjust, refine, edit, reevaluate, add your more information in, and see how you can then continue to move your plans forward to bring your intention to life. Okay? So that's where we are tonight. The other thing is that I said I wanted to tell you about was the astrology. So the zodiac sign has a lot to do with the energy that's around the moon phase. So not only are we in a gibbous moon, but the moon is in Cancer tonight, the sign of Cancer. So when you take what the moon represents and you take what the phase of the moon represents, so the gibbous moon, we're adjusting, refining, editing our plans, and adjusting the action we're taking so that we can continue to move forward. But then you also add the zodiac sign. So Cancer is a very feeling energy. It's a very intuitive energy, very spiritual, very sensitive. So, you might find when the moon is in Cancer that you are extra sensitive. Maybe you're extra perceptive. Maybe you are, your emotions feel like they're running a little bit high, especially when the moon is waxing and the energy is building and rising. So it's really good to pay attention to that and say, okay, am I feeling extra emotional? Am I feeling extra sensitive? Am I feeling extra perceptive? How can I use that energy to notice more about what's going on? How can I use that to tap into the underlying current of energy in the universe to help bring my intention to life? So that's what we're going to journal on tonight, is that Cancer, watery, emotional, sensitive, spiritual, intuitive, psychic energy in the building, waxing gibbous moon. Okay? So adjusting, refining, and editing. So I want to ask a question. I want you to get ready to journal. So let's start with something really simple. So where are you noticing that you are either more sensitive, more emotional, or more perceptive today? Where were you triggered today in any of those ways? So I'm going to give you a few minutes to journal. And since I'm talking to you on my phone, I can't use that timer. So let's just journal for a minute. So where are you being more triggered today in sensitivity, emotion, or perception? Okay? So free writing. So just write whatever comes to your mind. Okay, finish up what you're writing. So for me, honestly, I didn't have any plan for this tonight. So, other than knowing I was going to journal with you. But I didn't really know what questions I was going to ask, and I wanted to let them come up in the moment based on what I was talking about and what I was feeling. And so, of course, then I didn't know what I was going to write. And the first thing that came to mind for me as I was journaling is that I was really tired today, and I've been feeling really overwhelmed lately. Like, my to-do list is very big, and I have some upcoming deadlines that are coming very fast, and a whole lot of stuff going on in life right now. And because of all of that going on, I also felt less focused today. Like, I had a hard time focusing on what I wanted to do, and putting that all together, if I'm in this very sensitive Cancer moon, and I've come up against obstacles in my intentions. Yesterday with the first quarter moon, and now we're moving into the gibbous moon. I now want to know, so now that I know what the energy is that I'm facing, so it's you know, it's overwhelming, it's tiring, it is time consuming, it's fast moving, and I'm having not focusing well. So what can I do to adjust? So that's what I want you to ask. What did you find in your journaling? What came up for you? What's showing itself for you to be aware of? And how can you adjust? Okay, so ask that question to yourself. Feel what the answer is for you. And then again, just stream of consciousness, right? Let whatever wants to come out, okay? So how can you adjust based on whatever you learned in the first question? How can you adjust? Okay, so start to finish up what you're doing. As I keep writing. So finish up what you're doing. I'm writing my last words here. Okay, so what did you learn in that one? Was that different? Were you able to get a sense of things that you can adjust? Did you get any insight into that? So for me, you know, I naturally go toward, first of all, what my body is feeling. And second of all, what my tools are that I know work. So like, what's my natural inclination to go toward? You know, number one, like the tiredness in my body is telling me I need more sleep. So I tend to be somebody who's more productive at night. And I know that I could stay up and I could work at my computer until midnight or 1 o'clock easily and get more things done. But with my body being tired and, you know, it's telling me that I need sleep. So I know that I have to prioritize that so that I can rebuild my own resources. Like I can't recharge my batteries when my batteries are low by neglecting myself and my needs, my body's needs, my physical needs. So same thing for you. You can't neglect yourself and expect to get better results, right? The other thing that came up is eating well. And that's another way of recharging your batteries, you know, rebuilding your own resources in order to make improvements. So those are ways you can adjust. Tools that came up for me, like the natural inclinations that I have to use tools. Crystals, I have crystals in my pockets now that are for focus. So what do you have in your space that can help you adjust going forward on your plans? Using timers in my work, taking meditation breaks, and breathing. While I was journaling, I had a big sigh, and I went, oh, I have to remember to breathe. So, for me, when things get overwhelming and they get crazy, you forget to breathe. So if that's the case for you, especially in this sensitive energy and this very emotional, overwhelming energy, you have to remember that self-care kind of stuff, okay? So let's ask one more question. And this is about bringing your intention, whatever you're currently working on in your life, whether that is an intention you started with the new moon that just passed, or if you are working on a goal for this year or some other kind of intention. But what always is good to ask, and what raises your energy and your vibration, is asking about gratitude. So in your current situation, in this moon of extra sensitivity, extra awareness, heightened awareness, overwhelming energy, emotional energy, and with the obstacles that come up with the first quarter moon that was yesterday, and any place that you are, maybe having to veer or struggling to bring your intention to life, or even just as you're moving forward, progressing with your intention, bringing it to life, what are you grateful for about the whole experience? So I want you to journal about that for just a minute. This will be our last question. So what are you grateful for about your current experience of life and the lessons you're learning about bringing your intention forward? Try that one. Okay. Finish up your last sentence there. Finish up your thoughts. So what are you grateful for? This can be an easy question because, when you are in, any sort of spiritual development in your own life, that's one thing that we talk about all the time, and it's what, everybody talks about gratitude, and, the law of attraction talks about gratitude as being a manifestation tool. So it's really common to talk about, and it might be something, and it's so common that it can be something you take for granted. And we don't want to take that energy for granted because it's so powerful. And so you want to make sure that you are being present and aware in your gratitude, and make sure it's not something you're just flinging out into the universe and not really paying much attention to. So when I thought about my lessons through this particular time in my life, these few days, the intention that I'm working on bringing to life right now, things that I'm grateful for, and especially working with the moon energy and the astrology energy with the moon, and knowing how all of this stuff works together. I'm grateful for one thing, for knowing this kind of information, because it helps me to feel full. Like, it fills my cup, it fills my well to work with this energy and to work with the cycles and with nature and to just be in that flow of the universe. It feels good, and I want to share that with as many people as possible. I'm also grateful because I work with this kind of energy a lot in my own life. I am grateful that it has helped me to be very sensitive to my body. So I know when my body is giving me signals. I know when it's telling me that I need to do more self-care, I need to sleep more, I need to eat, better, or continue eating well, even when I really want to go have ice cream, right? I love things like pizza and ice cream and popcorn. But I know how to listen to its messages, and I recognize when it's speaking to me. I'm grateful for the signs that I get and the signs from the universe and the energy and being able to feel that, so I know what's happening around me. I'm grateful for my perseverance and sticking through this, because sometimes before I was really involved in this kind of work, when I would get to a hard part, when I was really tired and overwhelmed, I would want to quit. And I'm grateful that I have learned to keep going and stick with it. And I'm grateful to be able to do these videos and share this information with you guys and help you to use this energy and bring this into your life as well, because it's powerful, and it's so very powerful. So that is my message for tonight. And just look through what you read. It might not be anything, what you wrote, it might not be any big deal, but you might have some nuggets of gold in there. So see what's there and take what works for you and leave the rest, and practice working with the energy of the universe, and I promise that it will make a difference for you. Okay? Happy Gibbous Moon. Bye, everybody.